matter and everything. So everybody just didn't want to go backwards, which I get. But at the same time, you know what you heard. You know what I'm saying? If you hear the video, and yeah, man. So it was an unfortunate situation. My owner called me. It was a big thing on ESPN. Jeter called me, and he told me, he's like, "Listen, man, we know. I heard the same thing that you heard. We know that you heard. We heard what we heard, but you know how these things go. And do everything in their power to make sure that this doesn't come to light and that they don't turn this into a thing." So that's exactly what happened.
Good morning to some, afternoon to others. All depends on what time you're watching this show. And we're going to go into the baseball space today with a former 2012 first round draft pick, 29th selection to the Texans. Used to be an outfielder, part
Yep.
of 6 seasons in the MLB. I welcome to some, introduce to others, Mr. Lewis Brinson. Lewis, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on, man. Happy to be here. Happy to be
Uh,
here, man. Thank you for having me, man.
looks like you got your golf apparel on there. You coming off the course?
Coming straight off 18, man.
A
Birdied
full
the last
18.
2 holes. We're
Yes, sir.
good. It's hot. It's hot, but we're good. I'm feeling nice. I'm gonna be back. So yeah, just got off the course.
All right. So, as a first round draft pick, tell me the process that you went through, and when did that conversation start happening within, let's just say maybe between MLB franchises, your agent? When did you know that you might end up being a first round selection? Because I just assume that's every high school baseball player's dream is to be a first round pick. When did that process start happening?
So process really started happening my sophomore year in high school.
Okay.
I was getting some looks. I made my varsity team my freshman year, but I was hitting like eighth and ninth and kind of still growing into myself and really didn't, know my way around the baseball field like that. Obviously, I've been playing baseball since I was 4 years old, so I knew how to play and I was good. But as far as like being a first round talent, that really didn't come about until, my sophomore year. Like I said, grew into myself a little bit more, grew into my power a little bit more, arm strength. I was always fast, so that was always kind of a trait that I've always had. But I really started to grow into myself my sophomore year. I started to get some more looks from colleges, from D1 colleges. First, it started kind of in state, the USFs, the UCFs, and then it started with the Florida States and the Miamis and the Floridas and stuff like that. So, and then I started getting invited to showcases. Started doing more perfect game showcases and World Wood Bat. A lot of showcases down here, and a lot more scouts started showing up in my games, and we had to get extra stands in our at our field at my high school because we had to
Mm-hmm.
accommodate so many people, and our high school team was good, and also
Mm-hmm.
had to accommodate for the scouts and people coming to watch. So sophomore year, and then going into my junior, like that summer, I was like, wow, I think this might be a possibility for me. Now, first round, I didn't really expect until like later on in my high school career when I started getting invited to more showcases, and scouts are sending me questionnaires, and I'm really starting to get some attention from D1 schools, like serious attention. And then I'm looking at all the lists and start to get hit up by agents and all this other stuff. So but yeah, I'd say my sophomore year is when I really started to kind of grow into my own.
Call comes in.
uh,
How is that call? Who's calling you on draft day and like, yo, we're about to pick you? How does that work?
so my agent called me first. I was at my house. I was in my mom's room. All my loved ones are in there, and we had sort of kind of like a party, and we were watching the draft. And my agent called me. He's like, "Hey, man, the Rangers are going to take you next at 29. Congratulations. I'll call you afterwards." So I'm like, I hang up the phone. My mom's like, "What?" I'm like, uh, you know, I think I'm getting drafted next. 29th pick, and sure enough, commissioner comes on and announces my name, and everybody go. He couldn't even get my last name out. Everybody started going crazy when he said Lewis. So yeah, man, it was a dream come true. It was honestly a dream come true. Everything I had been through up to that point, all the hard work that I put in, all the family members that were there to support me, it was a dream, and I remember that like it was yesterday. But yeah, that call was very, very special. And then just to hear your name called in the first round on TV was very, very special. Definitely a surreal moment for me.
Now, just because you're a first round draft pick doesn't necessarily mean you're going straight to the majors.
Right.
In the football space, the basketball space, you get selected in the first round, you're going to the major league. In football, you're going to the NFL. Basketball, you're going to the NBA. But you're a first
Yeah.
round pick, 29th selection overall, which means only 28 people they thought were better than you or picked ahead of you. You might be going to which farm system? How did
Mhm.
that work for you?
Yeah. So I went to straight to rookie ball. So the league's called the AZL, Arizona League,
Okay.
like rookie league. So no, it wasn't glamour. Now I got drafted with three other guys, and the Rangers I think had three first round picks and like a second round pick. So all of us went to Texas, to Arlington, and signed our contracts and had a press conference. Got the jerseys and all that stuff. We got rolled out the red carpet for us, and then it was straight out to rookie ball to get your career started.
Hmm.
18 years old, living in a hotel, got a roommate. Yeah, it wasn't straight to the big leagues. I got a little taste when I was in the locker. They had us in the locker room. They had us shower, and we hit BP in the cage, and got to say what's up to the manager and some legends. Man, I was introduced. I was being introduced like to the big league team at the time, and we are getting
Yeah.
drafted. So it was great. But you go now, it's back to reality and get your career started and work your way up. So yeah, I started out in rookie ball, and it was hot, man. Middle of summer in Arizona, 115, 120 every day. It was hot, but got to go through it, and I wouldn't have it any other way, man. It was a great experience, and I made a lot of good friends at that point.
Was there a surreal moment when you were meeting some of those big leaguers and like, yo, I've been watching this guy since I was knee high. Yeah, yo,
Mm.
I'm shaking hands, or I'm in BP with so and so, or I got live pictures against so and so. Like, was there a surreal moment where you're watching some of the guys you're playing with, or you're being introduced to some of the guys that you used to watch as a kid?
Yeah, so when we initially got in the locker room, like I always said that big leaguers looked different than everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm,
they have a
okay.
different build. They look like men. You know what I'm saying? They look like larger than life. And I'm just fresh out of high school, so I've been on a big league field before, but it was like, I was a high school all-star, so they had us go to a Marlins game, and we met some of the Marlins players, and they look like larger than life. And that's how it kind of was walking into some of that, uh, walking in and meeting some of those guys. You meet Adrian Beltre, Hall of Famer, third baseman. You're meeting guys like Elvis Andrew. You're meeting Ron Washington. You're meeting a lot of these guys that are just big, big dudes, like larger than life kind of guys. And I'm essentially close to them, but very, very far. Once you get out to rookie ball, you realize how far you are from the big leagues. But at
Yeah.
the same time, um, it's it's a surreal moment. Like I said, there wasn't really anybody that I had watched or looked up to, but you definitely see them on TV and you know who these guys are. And
Yeah.
coming up and shaking their hands, and you're meeting them, you're like, man, you guys are in the show. Like you guys are in the big leagues, and I'm gonna be up here soon. But it was still like a larger than life. They seemed larger than life to me still.
You go from being drafted to the Rangers. You spend a cup of coffee with the Brewers, but then you end up in a
Mm.
blockbuster trade with the Marlins. Okay.
Yep.
For as a young cat, just kind of trying to get your feet wet, does that do something to your mental space on and off the field when you're making these moves so quickly in such a young career?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the first one hurt definitely because all I knew was Texas and the Rangers and all my friends that I had made, and we all had aspirations of being in the big leagues together and helping the Rangers win a World Series. So the first one to the Brewers definitely hurt.
Okay.
Took me some time to get over that, but realizing it and talking to my agent and talking to different coaches and stuff like, hey man, this is a good thing. A team
Mm,
wants you. I was immediately their number one prospect, so I was getting treated like a number one prospect. Anything I needed, any extra work that I needed, I was, everybody was there to help me out as much as they could, because
yeah.
they gave away a big asset for me. So, it's a big investment, and selecting this kid to be, the guy in a sense. So it was great. I was only with the Brewers for like a year and a half. It was a short stint, but that was a great time. I made my debut with them, so I always have special place in my heart for the Brewers, man. They made my dream come true, make it into the big leagues. But getting traded that second time, it was more of like I expected it just because a lot of speculation and my name was being swirled around, and
Mm-hmm.
the GM actually called me on my way to Brewers Fan Fest to get the season started, and he called me and I answered the phone. And I was like, "Hey, man, so where am I going?"
Mm.
And he said, "Man, Lewis, thank you for everything. Congratulations on making your debut with us last year, but we traded you to Miami." And I'm like,
Okay.
"Oh, wait a minute, I'm going home." Like initially I was like, "Oh man, I'm getting traded again," but it clicked, the light bulb clicked. It was like, "Oh wait, I'm going home. Like I get to play in front of my friends and family, my mom." My
Yeah.
mom was going to retire the year after, so she got to watch all my games. So it was great. And then like you said, you put the added pressure as far as like getting traded for the MVP that year. Ended up being the MVP in 2018. It's a huge trade when you trade four guys for one dude.
Right.
So and it was essentially like a very big trade for the Marlins, starting over, kind of starting to rebuild, and you're the head of that, so you put that
Mm-hmm.
pressure on yourself on top of the expectations that you already have on yourself to perform on the field. So I did
Right.
put some extra pressure on myself, and it showed. But I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way, man. Like I said, I lived out my dream. My literal dream came true as a little kid, rooting for the Marlins and being a huge fan of the Miami or the Florida Marlins at the time, and now I get to play for them. Literally dream come true. So I wouldn't have it any other. I wouldn't change anything.
So those folks who aren't from Florida or have never
Mm.
been to Miami, Miami is just a city of distractions. All right, I'm a Florida kid, and even like Dade itself is not really part of Florida. Dade itself could actually be broken off and kind of
For
exist on
real,
its own, right? It's different.
absolutely.
It's just different. Miami is different. It's different from the whole rest of the state. But now you're
Mm.
coming back home, but you're not coming back home as an 18-year-old kid who's probably a pretty good baseball player. You're coming back home as an MLB player who is kind of like they're trying to mold into the face of the franchise.
Right.
How are the how are the Miami distractions now? You got a little bit of cash in your pocket. You got a little bit
Mm.
of facial recognition. Miami can swallow the normal man. How did
Yeah.
you handle that?
I mean, you handle it any other way. Like I wasn't like a huge partier. I love to go out and experience things. And once I turned 21 and, I could go out and have a good time. Yeah, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't to an extent where it's like I'm staying out every night and, I'm being distracted. Now, we are men, and being a man, being a single man, being a single man playing for a professional sports team has its
Yep.
perks for sure.
Yep.
And I had my fun. I'm not gonna lie, I had my fun in Miami, but I always kept the main thing the main thing. And I'm down here to do a job and to show myself more so than anybody else, and obviously show the organization that they made the right choice. And I wouldn't say, 2018, I went through a lot of struggles. It was more so the fact that I was putting so much pressure on myself and trying to do extra things that I didn't do in the minor leagues. Now that I'm in the big leagues, I feel like I had to do more. And that just wasn't the case. And I was a young kid, 23 at the time. So
Hmm.
my mindset now, if I could put my mindset into that 23-year-old, who knows what would have happened. But it all happened for a reason. But yes, Miami does have a distraction, as any city does. But as you know, Miami
Nah,
is a little
nah,
different.
nah, nah, not every city.
Not every
not that.
city, not every city, but the big city, New York, Chicago,
Yeah, yeah,
LA,
yeah,
Texas, you can get into some things. But yes, Miami is definitely, there's a ton of things to get into. There's a bunch of people that you think you can trust that you just can't trust.
yeah,
Everybody, you feels like everything's a scam, but at the same time, it's a beautiful place full of beautiful people.
yeah.
And Miami's an amazing place. That's why I'm still living down here now. But yeah, there were, distractions, but I kept them at bay because I knew the main thing needed to be the main thing, and that was, playing baseball.
What was the first big league, for lack of a better term, what social event you went to? You're like, yo, I'm in the big league now. What was the first thing, the first party, first social event, first something like, yo, this is big time right now?
Yeah. I went to a couple things, honestly. I went to a Heat game. I'm gonna say two things. So I went to a Heat
Okay.
game, and a buddy of mine was a teammate of mine. His brother was playing for the opposing team. His brother was playing for the Bulls at the time. So we were in spring
Okay.
training, and we like four or five of us went down there and watched the game. They had us courtside. They showed us on the jumbotron. Oh, welcome. This player. They had our names on there.
Hmm.
The celebrity cam, whatever. We got to wave, and people were cheering. That was pretty dope. I ain't gonna
Okay.
lie. That was pretty cool. And then I went to a party. It was the opening of a restaurant in the design district down here, and Jeter was there. He was our owner at the time. So
Okay.
it was him and David Grutman. David Grutman's like the owner of Miami. I feel like the mayor of Miami. Um, uh, you know, Big time in Miami, big wig in Miami. He was there. He was hosting. So we were on the red carpet taking pictures, and we go upstairs, and there's beautiful people everywhere, and
Yep.
people in suits, and we're the not the main attraction, but we're one of the attractions. You know what I'm saying? Like you're a
Yeah. Yeah.
professional athlete at a big time opening of a restaurant. Pharrell and this guy David Grutman had opened up a restaurant down there, and I don't think Pharrell was there, but just to have those names associated with an event that you're at was pretty dope. And like I said,
Yeah.
walking the red carpet, I'm getting pictures snapped of me with Derek Jeter and David Grutman. I'm
Hmm.
like, yo, I'm in the show right now. This is crazy. Like I'm in the middle of Miami. Like
Yeah.
I'm a starting center fielder for a professional baseball team, and I'm at a party right now. Like I'm at a big Miami party. So that was two things that was pretty cool for me.
And Miami's a whole vibe. For anybody who's never been to
A whole
Miami,
vibe.
Miami's a whole vibe. All
Oh
right.
my
So
God.
same
Hmm.
question, except on the field.
Yeah.
You're in the majors now. You're playing big league. Was there a pitch that came across the plate and you're like, whoa, oh Lord? Or there was a ball that was slapped to you and you got to get going on your horse? You're like, whoa, I got to get there. What was your first big time, big league moment?
I mean, I've had big time big league moment was walking up to the plate for the first time.
Okay.
Um,
Let's go.
in
Talk me
the
through
big
it.
leagues in Arizona, making my debut. It was a day game. I had got in the night before, and I almost pinch ran, but I didn't end up getting in the game. I got in like the seventh inning, and I'm leaving the ballpark, and the manager, Craig Counsell at the time, manager of the Brewers, calls me in the office. Like, hey man, by the way, congrats. You're leading off tomorrow playing left. I'm like,
Oh.
oh, I'm leading off.
I'm
Like
leading off.
leading off now, yeah, I'm leading off, but I'm the first one. I have to be ready. I have to be lo- locked in before everybody. One, it's a day game, so I felt like I had to get up. I had to get up early. I didn't sleep that night before. I maybe slept 2 or 3 hours because
Yeah.
I'm about to make my debut. It's a day game. I got to wake up at 7. Like I went to bed at like maybe 11 o'clock. I'm not sleeping. So
Right.
I woke up in my own room, at the Biltmore Grand Resort or whatever it's called out there in Arizona. I had my own room, I had a balcony, I had a separate room, I had a suite pretty much, view of the
Right.
pool. Like, I'm like, man, this is the show. So I get up, go to the field, and get ready for everything. Like I said, you're leading off the game, so and we're hitting first because we're the away team. You got to be locked in before everybody else. So I make
Right.
sure I get all my stuff done first. I'm the first one on the line, running out to warm up, and then leading off the game. And they say making his major league debut, Lewis Brinson, and my family's all there, my mom, my uncle, and that first walk up to the plate, that first dig in was like, all right, here we go. Like that was a big time, big big league, big time moment for me. And then another one was running out and on opening day in 2018, in Lone Depot. Well, it was Marlins Park at the time, but running out that first opening day, roofs open, we're playing the Cubs, first game of the season, and like I got Miami across my chest, I got Brinson on the back, I got number 9, I'm wearing my favorite
Yeah.
player's number, like, and I
Yeah.
go warm up with the right fielder, and I just take a minute to take it all in and look around like, bro, we're here. Like you
Yeah.
literally manifested this as a kid, and you're here. Like this is happening right now. This ain't a dream. This isn't a
Yeah.
fluke. Like you ain't here on accident. Like you earned everything you got, and now you're here. Like, let's do this. Let's have some fun. So those were two that were big, big moments for me for sure.
And it's different with baseball because if I just flip on the other side with my sport with football,
Mm.
when I started playing, so I was a special teams player my first couple years. I redshirted my freshman year, and that was kind of like a special teams player my first couple years. But then I get to my junior season, which will be my, let's just say, my third season, and
Yeah.
I'm the starting nickel, which is basically your glorified third corner. You're not listed as a starter in the book. You come in situations for specifically for past situations. However, we played so many passing teams that certain games I'd be starting the game at the nickel. So let's just say I was a starter on the field, but not in the books. But my first
Mm-hmm.
game in football, to knock the nerves out, you just run up and hit somebody, just get a little contact. All right, I think I'm good now, right? I think I'm good now. Or the ball gets thrown over to the opposite side of the field, you go jump on the pile, get into that little action. You're like, all right, I'm good now.
Right.
You're the leadoff hitter in a major league game. Like you don't get any practice. That ball comes across the plate. You look at it, all right, shoot, I only got two more pitches depending on how they come. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this could go real bad real quick, or it could be real good real quick. It's just like, when do those nerves kind of fall out of you? Because it just doesn't seem like you don't have much time to knock the nerves out of there.
Yeah, so I mean, I was nervous. I was walking up there for the first time, and I tried to do my breathing and take a deep breath and all that. But making your major league debut, I'm in Arizona. I'm facing one of the best pitchers in the league at the time.
Who was a pitcher back?
You
Who was you
know,
pitching in?
Robbie Ray, I faced
Okay.
was my
Okay.
first big league pitcher that I faced,
Okay.
and I worked. It was a good at bat. I worked the 3-2 count and threw me a fastball, and I crushed it up the middle, and the shortstop made a diving play, got me out at first. And that was like okay, whew, all right. I made solid contact. We're good. Let's just have some fun. Now it would have been great to see that ball go through your first at bat. You get a hit,
Right.
your first plate appearance. Who knows, where it goes from there because your confidence is through the roof.
Right.
You hit a ball hard. It's a base hit straight up the middle. It's like, oh man, we rocking. Let's go. I'm good. But guy makes a diamond play. I get back to the dugout and everybody's yelling like, "Welcome to the show, kid!" Because in AAA, that might be a hit, but up here, nah, that ain't a hit, dog. We got
Right.
athletes up here, so that was it hurt, but at the same time, that was like a deep breath. Like, okay, I can let out a deep breath now. Like, we're here. Let's go. And I had a decent game. I had that one. I got out. I walked twice, stole a base. I think we ended up losing, but all in all, it was a good game. Made some plays in the outfield. Like, it was a solid game.
You talked about kind of some ups and downs, and I forgive me, I didn't write it down. I should have quoted, but you went through some ups and downs in
Right.
Miami. All right, your first season in Miami, 76 hits, and then you dropped in your second season to 39, and then 24. But you got out of your slump in 2021 with 62. And
Yeah.
baseball is kind of you're gonna have hitting slumps. It just happens. It's the nature of the sport. It's the only sport where you can be successful almost by losing. You go 1 for 3, that could be a great
Yeah.
game, right? So you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's 300.
if you're right, you're hitting 300.
Mm-hmm.
If you were talking to a young youth league player right now, how would you tell them, hey, to be patient? You're gonna get out of these slumps. How do you fight through your hitting slumps?
It goes back to just trusting yourself and trusting the work that you put in. At the time, I was talented enough and I had the physical skills to be in the big leagues. Everybody that's in the big leagues has the physical ability to be up there and perform. It's the ones that can control the mental side of the game that overtake everybody else. So you believe you believe in the work that you put in. You believe that you are talented enough and you're able to perform at a big league level. But the guys that can mentally tell themselves that they're ready and able and can compete at a big league level are the guys that separate themselves. So your mind listens to whatever you tell it. So I was more so scrambling around trying to figure things out when all I literally needed to do was just trust everything that I had done in the offseason. Trust
Mm-hmm.
my ability to be up there. Hey, man, you belong up here. You got traded for a big time player. You're the starting center fielder. They're gonna run you out there every day. Just do what you did you just do what you did in the minor leagues. It was more so I needed to have a plan against pitchers up there. I was just going up there relying on my physical ability.
Right.
Whereas in the big leagues, you got to be a little bit more strategic as far as what this guy's doing, how this guy's pitching you, what adjustments is he making, what adjustments is the league making. You need to make those adjustments back. It's a constant cat and mouse chess match. So it was more so me not worrying about my mechanics instead of worrying about what this guy is doing to me and how these pitchers and how these teams, because teams would attack you different. So you have
Right.
to remember that you need to make the adjustment as far as like these teams are making the adjustment. The book is out. As soon as you have a bat in the big leagues, the book is out. All the holes that you have, everything is out, especially with technology nowadays. So going back, I would tell a young player or I would tell a young Lewis to just trust himself a little more and just
Mm-hmm.
be able to have a plan and trust that plan and don't put these pitchers and guys in the big leagues on such a high pedestal. Now, yes, there are Cy Young Award winners. There are guys that are disgusting, that are nasty, and can throw a ball in the same spot where you can't hit it 3 times in a row. But you
Right.
also have to remember that these guys are human. These guys make mistakes. You just have to capitalize on maybe that one mistake that you might get in the at bat. So the guys that can do that are the guys that, again, just have a longer, better career. But it was more so the mental side. I would just say, trust yourself, trust your ability, trust the work that you put in. Forget the mechanics when you get in the game. When you get in the game and you step in the box, it's mano y mano. It's you and the pitcher, and you adjust to however he's pitching you, and you adjust to however the game tells you to play the game in a sense. So throw all mechanics out the window and just let your natural ability take over.
Who was the nastiest pitcher you faced?
Steven Strasburg.
Mm.
Steven Strasburg. If I saw Steven Strasburg right now, I would run away. I ain't gonna lie to you. He just had. I mean, he was. Besides, it was unfortunate that his career was just riddled by injuries. But
Yeah.
he at his peak, he had one of the nastiest changeups, and he only had really 3 pitches, but he could locate him however he wanted. Again, at his peak, and he just did a really good job of just keeping guys off balance, and I just couldn't. I felt like I had no chance when I step in the box. Like I go
Mm.
up there with like, man, I got somewhat of a chance, even though it was the nastiest pitcher in the league. Like Jacob deGrom at the time when I was making my debut and when I was with the Marlins, he was probably the nastiest pitcher in the league, and I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to face him more so than Steven Strasburg. So
Mm.
if Steven ever sees this, don't forget how nasty you used to be, man. You know what I'm saying? You were good there for a minute.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. You spoke about racial slurs that you experienced possibly in Colorado. Okay, if
Yeah.
when I was doing my research, and we're coming from the same state, whereas we're a melting pot of people. Um, I really didn't experience anything racially coming up until I got to Notre Dame, and we went to go play in West Virginia, and we're warming up, and we're pretty close to the sideline and their fan bases, and these folks are saying all kind of crazy stuff, and you're like, yo, we're like, what world are we living in? Like, this is
Yeah,
this
man.
this is 2000, bro. Like, it, you first of all, you don't have anything more creative to say other than that. Like you didn't practice this in front of the mirror to have. If you're gonna say something racially motivated, like get a good one. Like do something that hadn't been done before. Like you know what I
Yeah.
mean. But still, the fact of the matter is, it's not something that I was accustomed to growing up, being a Florida kid. And then you spoke of something that happened to you in Colorado.
Mhm.
Elaborate on that for me.
Yeah. So I mean, it was something that I didn't realize at first. Like I didn't realize what had happened when I was playing. Our media guy came up to me after the game. He was like, "Hey man, you okay?" I was like, yeah, man, it's just a loss. I mean, we'll get him tomorrow. We'll be all right. He's like, no, you didn't hear what happened. I'm like, no, dude, does this look like somebody that knows what you're talking about?
Mm.
And he pulled up Twitter and he showed me the video. And I was like, Jason, if you think that if I would have heard that we would be sitting having this conversation, like, come on now. Like, if I would have heard that, I would have stepped out the box. Somebody would have got an earful somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I heard on the video, again, when I was playing, I did not hear a word.
Right.
But on the video, it's as clear as day. You can hear, I think people heard what they wanted to hear.
Okay.
Obviously nobody wants to hear the N-word multiple times yelled. But I think people heard what they wanted to hear and what the media was telling them was actually being said. But
Right.
anybody that I show the video to, anybody in their right mind that I show the video to, they hear what I hear, and I hear the N-word being said, being yelled twice. So, I said my piece. As far as like addressing it, they tried to say the guy behind home plate was yelling at Dinger, the mascot for the Rockies. The Rockies did put out a statement that they don't condone that type of behavior, and the Rockies don't represent that. We are deeply apologize to Lewis Brinson and the Miami Marlins for that. But something came out that a fan behind home plate was yelling Dinger, and when I'm at bat, I don't hear the crowd. You know what I'm saying? I'm not
Right.
hearing nothing. And if I step out the box, I might hear something that somebody yells. But then if I'm in the box, like it's like, what's that one movie? Not League of Their Own.
League of Their Own? Oh no, not a League of Their
No,
Own.
not the League of Their Own. It's where he says control the mechanism, and it literally just tunnel vision. And you don't hear anything else.
Okay, but go ahead. I feel you.
Yeah, so I don't hear anything else when I'm in the box. So I wouldn't have heard him even if he did say it, but you can see that guy not yelling. He might have been yelling at the mascot, but I don't think he was yelling that behind a plate because I would have heard it. It was somebody that was up by the press box, and they had mics up by the press box. So whatever people are yelling, like if you yell pretty loud, you can hear whatever somebody's yelling. So it's definitely somebody in the press box, or sitting under the press box. Excuse me. So that was saying that. And I mean, I stuck by what I had heard, and I heard what I heard, and I in the press conference, I'm like, listen, man, if that fan is getting any backlash for saying Dinger, I apologize. I deeply apologize. Whoever is sending this guy threats or just hounding this guy, please leave him alone. If this is the case, but I know what I heard, and I heard the N-word twice, so they did a great job of sweeping it under the rug. Because just you don't want those problems, especially in 2020. It was 2021. We had just come off the George Floyd thing and Black Lives Matter and everything. So everybody just didn't want to go backwards, which I get. But at the same time, you know what you heard. You know what I'm saying? If you hear the video, and yeah, man. So it was an unfortunate situation. My owner called me. It was a big thing on ESPN. Jeter called me, and he told me, he's like, "Listen, man, we know. I heard the same thing that you heard. We know that you heard. We heard what we heard, but you know how these things go. And do everything in their power to make sure that this doesn't come to light and that they don't turn this into a thing." So that's exactly what happened. But again, I'm not gonna try to get people to feel bad for me because we live in a world where it's like, all right, man, we'll move on. It's like, all right, man, I got things to handle. I got a job to do. I can't worry about somebody that has that much hate in their heart. Like all I could do is pray for them. So like at the end of the day, like I hope whoever did say that is in a good space. Maybe they've changed their mind. I know they think they got away with murder there, but I hope they have a change of heart and they're having a great life and everything. I don't wish harm on nobody, but yeah, that's really all that came out of that situation. But again, anybody in their right mind that listens to the video, you hear what you hear.
Here goes probably a very ignorant question. I'm going to ask it anyways. Is that commonplace in the sport, in the major league scene? Is that commonplace?
That was the first time that, again, I didn't hear it. That was the first time that I had heard or like anything has happened to me on the field. I've heard craziness. Go back to Compton. I've heard, which I'm not from California, even from
Right.
California, so that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I've heard, stuff about my mom, stuff about my girlfriend, stuff about my wife. Like, I've heard craziness all throughout. Now on Instagram, I've gotten some people will like DM me with like a no face profile and say craziness. And I had to tell our manager, Don Mattingly, he's like, man, does this happen? I'm like, dude, it happens maybe, I don't know, maybe twice a month, maybe. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, man, it's just some troll or some idiot in their mom's basement that don't have a life, that just tries to, portray their negativity on everybody else. I mean, I ain't worried about it. But yeah, it does happen in DMs and on Instagram, and to where it counts to where you can't trace the person, which they understand what they're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's why they don't put their face in it. But it is what it is. It sucks. There's no place for it. I think, people like that need mental health help, but it is what it is. But I did tell, I'm like, yeah, man, that happens to me. And I'm sure other guys that are, if you're struggling, whatever, fans, just, I don't know what comes over them, but they feel that they need to say that and express that over their DMs and into your DMs and into your life to try to get in your head. I don't know, but yeah, it does happen. But I'm sure it's happened to a lot of guys before me, guys that are, I played with or played against.
Right.
But fortunately, that was the only incident where it had happened on field. And again, I didn't even hear it initially.
All right. Put your
Yeah.
thinking cap on, because I'm gonna lead this into my nephew's gonna come on. He's gonna make a guest appearance here shortly.
All right.
All right. But here we go. Thinking cap on, and take your time in between. I would like your top 5 players that you played against in your career. And it does not, all 5 don't have to necessarily be MLB players. It could have been at different levels or a different league. But I want at
Mm-hmm.
least your professional career, and the level of professionalism does not matter. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead. You got it.
Okay. So number one's got to be probably Juan Soto.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I'd say Juan Soto's definitely way, way up there on the list of best players I played against. Ronald Acuna,
Okay.
definitely one of the best players I played against. I'm gonna go minor leagues
Okay.
and say there was a guy, AJ Reed. He was with the Astros. We were in like Double A, and like couldn't get out if he tried. Type
Okay.
of hitter. That's one. Freddie Freeman, another one that just, I mean, killed us, like just dominated us. And such a nice guy too. Freddie Freeman is definitely one.
That makes it even worse. He killed you, and he was a nice guy.
Yeah, and he was just, hey, Lewis, nice hit, man. I'm like, you know what, Freddie, with your Oppo home run to lead off the game. All right, don't hey Lewis me at first base. All right. But yeah, him. I mean, there's a plethora of guys. Mookie Betts, Jacob deGrom. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of guys that I've played against, but in my opinion, I'm gonna go Juan Soto, AJ Reed, for the minor leagues, Ronald Acuna Jr., Freddie Freeman, and Mookie Betts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna
Okay.
I'm gonna stick with that. I'm gonna stick with that
Okay.
list.
Okay. I like it. I
Yeah.
like it. I like it. You hit 283 and 22 home runs and 63 RBIs in AAA league. What is that? Sugarland in 2022.
Mm.
What attributed to that success?
Man, it was again, it goes back to our previous conversation about trusting yourself. Like, I finally just let myself be a hitter. Like, I
Okay.
turned into a hitter. Just speaking off of experience, it's obviously having experience in the big leagues, 4 years of big league experience. So going down the I've always performed well in AAA.
Okay.
So that was like, that wasn't even my best year in the minor leagues.
Okay.
I had way better leagues or way better seasons when I was with Texas. But that was the first time where I just let it, in lack of a better term, I let it all hang out as far
Okay.
as, you know, getting my A swing off every time I was up there and not caring about swinging and missing. And I didn't really strike out that much. I walked a lot more. I got on base a lot more, but I was driving the ball, and I attest to that. Like, just again, just trusting your ability, man. Like, you're able to be up here or be in AAA. You know you should be in the big leagues, but you're not. You're in AAA. You're here. Be where your feet are, and just being okay with wherever I'm at. Now, not being complacent, but
Yeah.
I can't control. Only thing I can control is what I do on this baseball field.
Right.
So do your routine, trust your routine, trust the work you put in the off season, and just go out there and ball. And that's exactly what I did. So I attest that success to trusting myself. Literally, it was just as simple as that. Just trusting myself and being able to do that.
Well, I'm bringing in my nephew,
All
Monty
right.
Martin. He's making a guest
What's up,
appearance right
Monty?
now. Monty, say good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Lewis.
Morning, Monty. Good to meet you, man.
He's
I
a
appreciate getting with you
promising
too.
he's a promising young baseball prospect. And
All
he's
right.
like he knows all information. We're downstairs and we're doing research. He's helping me doing Lewis Brinson research before we're planning for the podcast, and we're going through numbers, and he's telling me draft picks. So he's actually the producer of the show behind the scenes. All right,
Nice.
so he
Okay.
wants to
All
make
right.
he wants to make this guest appearance and ask a few questions. Monty, I guess it's your show now, Monty. Go with
First one. So I want to know, what was your favorite teammate on all the teams that you've been on?
That's tough, man. Why are you gonna put me on the spot? I'm still friends with a lot of my teammates, man.
it.
All right.
Can I have two? Can I have two?
Go ahead.
All right. So first one would have to be Cameron Maben. Cameron Maben, he was, veteran guy, came in 2018, had just won a World Series with the Astros. Just taught me the ropes, man. Like, I had watched him when I was a young kid going to Marlins games when he was playing with the Marlins. He's like, man, can you stop saying that? Because you make me feel old. But he'd show me the ropes. He took me under his wing. We would go out together. If I had questions about outfield, about just anything, baseball, life, girls, parents, anything, I can go to him and, sit down and, have a legitimate conversation. And, he would help me through a lot of the struggles. I went through a lot of struggles in 18, and he was there to pick up the pieces when I was like, man, just down. He's like, man, you're going to be fine. You're a prospect. You're a top prospect for a reason. They traded you for Yelich for a reason. You're going to be fine. Just keep coming to the field, keep showing up every day, keep putting in the work, and everything will work itself out. So, like, he was a big deal for me. My second one, my player one B would be Curtis Granderson. Curtis was also one of those guys that was just positive, was just happy to be there every day. Guy that has, more than has, 400, 500 home runs in the big leagues.
Mm.
Just quietly, like, had a really, really, really good career, and he was so humble. Any advice that I needed on or off the field, he always took care of everybody, made sure everybody had, what they needed as far as like information, or always took care of the rookies. If we went to a new city, like, hey man, I want to take you guys out to dinner, my favorite spot, or I can't make it, but the owner or the chef is gonna have you guys, eat something special or something special off the menu or whatever. Like, he was just always taking care of his teammates. And I really, really appreciate that. Both of them are still good friends of mine now. Cameron Maben was at my wedding with his wife. So those are probably my two, favorite teammates. Shout out to all my teammates, because I had some really, really great teammates that I'm really good friends with. But put me on the spot. I gotta give it to those two.
You got another question for him, Monty?
Yes. So, out of all the teams you've been on, which team would you say treated you best?
Good question.
That is a good question. Oh man, I mean, all the teams treated me great. Uh, I'm gonna go out and say the San Francisco Giants.
Mm.
Like I said, I had teams treated me great, but the reception I got when I got traded to the Giants in 2000 at the end of 2022 from the Astros, the GM hit me up, the hitting coach, the manager, everybody was like, "Hey man, anything you need." The clubbies, everybody was just I felt important. I felt the love, in that clubhouse and felt wanted, in a sense. But I know people probably don't expect that. But and then when I walked up to the plate, I got a standing ovation. And I was like, huh? Like
Oh,
this is a
okay.
late year trade, late year signing for you guys. And the announcer's like, and making his Giants debut, Lewis Brinson, and everybody stood up and started clapping, give me applause. I'm like, oh snap! Okay, this is nice. This is a change of scenery. This is cool. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say the Giants, man. The Giants really, really treated me well, man. I enjoyed my little time that I did have there. I enjoyed that.
It's nice. That's nice.
All right,
Uh-huh.
Monty, you good? Or you got one more?
One more small one. Small one.
Go ahead.
What was
All
your
right.
all right? What was your favorite stadium that you've been to?
Oh, I was gonna ask that question. Nice. And hold on,
Stadium.
let me kind of your favorite game day environment, which includes that stadium. So
Right.
which one you going with?
Right.
Wrigley Field, 100%, 100%, no doubt. Just the baseball aura of that ballpark. It's packed out no matter who they're playing. The fans are right on top of you. They know baseball. They're chirping at you in the outfield, but
Mm-hmm.
that was the only fan base where like I would give it back to them. You know what I'm saying? Like they would chirp me in the outfield, and I turn around and like tell them that's a good one or give them a thumbs down. Like that wasn't a good one, and they would kind of interact back and forth with me. But just the environment of Wrigley Field, the day game at Wrigley Field, like midsummer game in Chicago, like honestly, bro, like there's nothing like it, in my opinion. I have other favorite stadiums, but like favorite atmospheres, like that's one of my favorite stadiums, but favorite atmosphere, like baseball game day atmosphere, definitely Wrigley
Yeah.
Field in Chicago,
Right.
for sure.
Well, that was good, Monty. Nicely done, sir.
Thank you.
All right, my man.
Appreciate you, Monty.
No problem.
All right, let's close it out. But I want to make sure that we hit on the foundation that you have, and I want you to speak on the foundation, the mission behind it, and I want you to definitely promote the podcast that you're a part of and or have started. So let me know what you
Right.
got. Talk to us.
Yeah, so my foundation that I am a part of, big part of, One Home Team Foundation. Me and my partner Trevor, just he's a licensed therapist, and he has helped me get through a lot of my mental kind of blocks that I've had throughout my career. I met him first time I met him was I was 18 at Bommarito Sports Systems in Aventura down here, and he was playing football, and I had just got drafted. And he was a workhorse. Like he worked hard, and he noticed that I wanted to get better, and I wanted to be around great players. Like I would always want to be around the big leaguers that were already training with us, but I always wanted to be with them. Like I wanted to be in their group. I didn't want to be in the other groups. I
Right.
wanted to be around success. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So he noticed that, and like later on in my career, we linked up again, and he had started this foundation. And once I kind of got out of the game, he was like, "Man, I want you to be more of a bigger part of this," and kind of being really, really hands-on as far as getting sponsors, promoting it,
Mm-hmm.
going to meetings about different aspirations or which direction we want to go. But the premise behind it is just making sure that we putting the right message about mental health in the community, because I think the message behind mental health sometimes can get a little skewed as far as being vulnerable. I think as men, as Black men, we're not, being vulnerable is kind of frowned upon or made fun of. To be able to express your feeling, like we all have feelings. Like you're not just a dead person, black hole inside. Like you have feelings. You feel sadness. You feel anger. You feel envy. Like you feel all these feelings, but to be able to express them instead of like push them down, keep pushing them down, keep pushing them down, then one day you just can't take it and you snap, or you
Mm-hmm.
just give up because it's just too much. We want to make sure that we're enabling people and kids and teams to be able to express that and have an avenue to be able to say like, man, I'm not okay, man. I need to talk to somebody. And whether that's me, whether that's Trevor, whether that's anybody on our team, we want to be able to be that outlet for people and for
Nice.
kids and for teams, like I said. So just putting on different events. We just did our trail run, Everglades Trail Run
Okay.
in May, to promote mental health in the community. All the proceeds to that, any donations, any auction pieces that we auctioned off, would go back to mental health services in the community. We have our big event is we're going to do it, I think, January 10th. Don't quote me on that date yet. We're still working out some things, but we're going to do it January 10th. Down here is a celebrity softball game, Broward versus 305ers.
Okay.
And it's a celebrity softball game. We have, we had Jazz last year. We had guys like Sean Anderson, Tuki Toussaint, Tristan McKenzie, Xavier Edwards for the Marlins, Griffin Conine. We're getting the Conine's Foundation involved this year, hopefully, and Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital behind us as well.
Okay.
But it's pretty much it's a celebrity softball game. Go out there and play, just play softball with the boys. And but we have an auction where we have game used items. We have baseballs, we have cleats, bats that guys give us, and we auction those off, and all the proceeds go back to mental health services and paying for mental health services in the community, for people that maybe can't afford it or just need it in general. And then we have sponsors. I think last year we had BurgerFi. We've had Chick-fil-A in the past. We're trying to get Publix this year. We had Once Upon a Coconut and Suja Water, like just to name a few
Mm-hmm.
sponsors. We had Bruce Bolt backing us last year. Probably going to be a sponsor again this year. So just it's a great event. We had a great turnout last year, and literally just the premise behind it is to making sure that we have people have an outlet, and people,
Nice.
if it's with me, with my partner Trevor, again with our team, just having an outlet to express yourself and being able to not just hold all that stuff in, because again, anybody knows, you keep holding stuff in, it's going to come out one way or another, and it
Correct.
might not be a good way, and it might be somebody that you don't recognize. So
Okay.
just making sure that we promote that and giving people that outlet, man. That's all we want to do, and being able to, show our backstory and being able to, be vulnerable in our space to show people that it's okay to be vulnerable. So that's just a premise into it, man. We're working every day to make it better and make it bigger, and just promote the message and get the message out there. But it's an honor to be a part of it, and something that I've been through in my life and in my career, and I love giving back to whoever needs it, honestly.
Well, this has been fantastic, Mr. Brinson. I appreciate the time.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate you having me on, man. It's great to chop it up and reminisce a little bit.
Yeah, man. Take you down memory lane,
Yeah,
man. Hey,
yeah,
hey,
man.
this is good. I'll reach out to you on the backside, bro. We'll do it again.
Absolutely, Preston. Thank you, man. Again, good luck with all your aspirations. This podcast, man. Had a blast, bro. And good luck, man. We'll do this again. I gotta get you on our podcast. By the way, shout out to Clubhouse Lounge. Forgot to
Yes,
shout
sir.
that out. That is my podcast with me, Nico Goodrum, Mike Wells, and Emmanuel Hudson.
Okay.
Just about life, chopping up about life, sports, anything, religion, anything. We just try to make it fun and kind of highlight people that aren't maybe everyday names or household names.
Yep.
Premises, the motto behind it is you're more than your occupation. We're more than
Mm-hmm.
entertainment. There's more behind, what you see on maybe on TV or maybe what you put on your website. There's a person behind that. So just being able to highlight those people and, give them their flowers and give them a platform to express themselves and how they got started. That's kind of the premise behind the Clubhouse Lounge. So shout out to
Well,
that. Just want to leave that in there.
just let me know when, my man. I would love to be a guest on. That's awesome.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you having me on, man.